What is the first thing you think of when you hear the word server?
A waiter.
Okay, do you know how a computer server would work?
It sends information to different parts? No.
Hello.
What goes up must come down. Spinning wheel, got to go round.
Server, a person or thing who provides a service or a commodity. Chances are you have been a server at one point or another. It is to serve anything. How has its definition varied from a utensil to a computer? Server has always had its position in culture.
Server and everything gone.
Large server.
Have dedicated servers. Talking to servers.
I am Emilio, sir. I am your servant.
Every process server I've sent out.
Altar serving, it's so beautiful that it opens your heart.
Dobby is bound to serve one family.
Chef, we just got served.
We only live to serve.
Sneaky, sneaky, sir.
Now you suckers got served.
However, this keyword is emergent and still in the process of forming. What used to be a physical server is now moving into the cloud. One could argue that the invention of the server is responsible for our current technological culture. I sought out to understand how a computer server found its place in the prevailing definitions that are commonly ascribed to server, and what happens when these definitions start to lose its position in our culture and language, or when they no longer fit in the digital culture we live in. I interviewed some servers in the quest to understand what they do, where they come from, and also their feelings about the emergence of the computer server.
So, what's your name?
I'm Server. I was born in the Middle Ages, somewhere in the 1400s, in England. I'm the child of the verb serve. Now I just lived my life since then, doing what I do best.
And so how do you feel when people don't really consider you as the definition of server anymore?
I just feel like my identity got stolen. Like all of a sudden one day I went from being an essential part to now I'm just a memory, something in the past. It's sad, really. I don't even like it.
So, do you think you could define what a computer server is?
Isn't it just what, sends the information? I don't know. Or, runs the processing? I actually don't know.
Yeah. So, what are you?
I'm a server.
So, what do you do as a server?
I take responsibility for a customer's experience in our restaurant, serving their food and making sure that they are happy throughout the entire dining experience.
And so when you hear the word server, do you automatically think of a restaurant server?
Yes.
And so you've heard of a computer server before, right?
Yeah.
So do you know how that kind of works in our technological world?
I think if I heard server in referencing to a computer, I would think of a desktop server, right? The screen. And besides that, I would never think about it. Server's always a person working in a restaurant to me.
Cool. So what are you?
I am a manager and server.
Alright, so how would you define a server?
I would define a server as someone who makes themselves available to the guests, have a great experience that makes them want to come back and continue having these lovely experiences. I don't know.
And so you know what a computer server is, right?
A computer server?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Okay.
Hey, I'm a server from 1475, and I'm from the late Latin period. And normally I serve people sitting down, but I'm too lazy. I'm gonna do it standing up.
I was born in France in 1481 as an artisan's assistant, but now I'm obsolete.
And so how do you feel when your name is now being used to define computers?
Computers?
So what's your name?
I'm Server.
And when were you born?
I was born in 1585.
And so what do you do?
I put the ball in play.
Oh. And so, how do you feel when people no longer consider you the number one definition of the term server?
Well, I'm probably in the best shape of any other server, so I don't understand why I wouldn't be the first thought on their mind.
So, do you serve in other games?
Yeah, I do volleyball, tennis, pretty much anything that has a server, I do it.
I don't know anything about serving a summon.
Tell me a little bit about yourself.
My name is Server. I was born in 1842. My background is Anglo-Irish, and my job is to summon people to a court of law.
Been served. I've been served by the best, my friend. You've been served.
And so you wish to remain anonymous?
Hell yeah.
So tell me, how do you identify yourself?
Server. The one and all. No other server comes close to me.
So what does it take to be a server?
Takes a backbone. No one can just be a server. You can't just walk up to the streets, ask me a server. No. You're born with it. It's in your DNA.
And how long have you been a server for?
About 25 years.
And how did you start becoming a server?
Well, started becoming a server. Shit was getting tight. Needed the money. Went through this connection called the Cafe House. And knew what's up. Became a server.
And so do you get mad when people don't think of you as the first thing to think of when they think of server?
Hell yeah. Server's a server. You call anything else a server, then you're just lying to yourself. You know, I was there before the computers were there. Server, I'm the server. I started the shit back in the 90s before you guys were all Facebook and all that garbage. Nah. Servers are on the streets working. Computer servers are just a hunk of junk.
My name is Server. I was born in 1992. I am a computer or a computer program that manages access to a centralized resource or service in a network. I have many applications as being a server. I can serve the web, email, or files. I still feel like I am changing. Even though I play an essential part in our culture, I can get lonely. I constantly observe the online activity of other people while I stay in an air-conditioned room with people constantly checking on me or fixing my problems. I feel so lonely, yet I am never alone. However, my physical body is starting to become outdated as I move into the virtual space of the cloud.
So what's your name?
My name is Brittany Koss.
And what do you do?
I'm an Atlas PhD student.
Cool. And so how many definitions of the word server can you think of?
I don't know. I just know of one, which is what a server actually is.
Okay. So what about like restaurant servers or like tennis servers?
I was assuming you meant like a website server, like a technology server.
Yeah. So why do you think server got its name? Because obviously since the technology kind of came about recently, it had to think of a name to come with it. So why do you think the actual server got to be a server?
I'm assuming it's because of the actual English definition of the word serve.
Mm-hmm.
Serve probably meaning to give something away to something else. So that's what a server does, is you're able to access a point within the server and then it gives you information that is stored on top of it.
And so do you think a lot of people, or the majority of folks, could basically define what a server does?
Absolutely not.
Okay, cool.
I think servers basically are clouds, and everybody thinks that cloud technology is somehow the new greatest thing. But servers have been around for 25, 50 years. They're nothing new. It's not new technology, but I think with the recent adoption of the word cloud or storing things on the cloud, people absolutely have no idea what a server really is or what it does, since that's what a server is.
So, what is the first thing that comes to mind when you hear the word server?
Like a waitress?
Can you think of any other definitions?
Like someone that services you?
All right. So, what's the first thing that comes to mind when you hear the word server?
Server?
Yes.
Waiter or waitress?
Can you think of any other definitions?
No.
Do you know what a computer server is?
Oh, yeah.
All right, cool.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, no, it's all good. What's your name?
My name is Haley.
And so, what are all the definitions of the word server that come to mind?
I think of computer server, server at a restaurant, server in volleyball.
So, what's the first thing you think of when you hear the word server?
Server?
Yeah.
Minimum wage?
Yeah. Okay. So, what do you think of when you hear the word server?
The word what?
The server.
A waitress?
Alright, cool. So, what do you think of when you hear the word server?
Server, I think of like the internet, where we get information from the internet, I guess.
Okay. So, what's the first thing you think of when you hear the word server?
Probably internet server or like a waiter or waitress at a restaurant.
And so, what do you think those terms have in common?
I guess the word server is pretty general, like as long as it's something that's working towards your ultimate goal. Like at a restaurant you want food, so the server is there to like serve you food, and on a computer you want to get somewhere, so a server is like trying to get you to the site you want to get to or whatever.
Okay, so how many definitions of the word server can you come up with?
One.
And what is that?
Someone that serves.
Have you ever heard of a computer server?
Oh, yeah.
Would you be able to explain how it works?
Computer server? No. What is a computer server? Isn't it like a search engine?
So what's your name?
Greg.
So how often do you use a computer or your phone?
A lot. I mean, first thing when I wake up, look at my phone and then hop on a computer for schoolwork and whatnot.
And so how do you think that your text messages and emails and online activity can be posted and sent? Like how do you think connectivity happens through the internet?
As far as like my personal
like the actual how do you think the internet works? So where does the internet live?
I honestly don't know.
So how many definitions of the word server can you think of?
Probably multiple. I mean, not definitions, I don't know, but there are like multiple people who serve.
So what types of people come to mind?
Like I could think of like people who give to the community, people that like serve, like waiters, like sports servers, so like baseball, and volleyball, servers, I guess. Yeah, I don't know.
So how would you define the word server with all the definitions?
With all that in mind?
Yeah.
I guess a server would be someone who is delivering something to another person.
So have you ever heard of a computer server?
I mean, I've heard of one, yeah.
So can you kind of imagine why it would be called a server just based on the definition you gave?
Does it deliver information to people?
In my research, I have concluded that even the computer server is still in the process of forming, and the adaptation of the cloud servers point to the future of the keyword, which can lead to question what the future holds for this key word.